This special limited edition slipcover, designed by J.J. Harrison, is limited to 6,000 units and is only available on the Vinegar Syndrome website and at select indie retailers. Absolutely no major retailers will be stocking them. Indonesia's beloved scream queen Susanna stars in this decidedly demented duo of supernatural revenge thrillers, Santet Santet 2, which boast not just over-the-top gore set pieces, but an abundance of slimy creatures, wild plot twists, and even impromptu musical numbers. Vinegar Syndrome presents this hugely popular set of Southeast Asian horror classics on disc for the first time in the United States, both newly restored from their 35mm camera negatives. Santet, 94 min. After poisoning his wife, local gangster Bisman blames her death on the village cleric and instigates an outraged mob to burn down his hut, killing him in the process. The cleric's wife Katami escapes into the jungle, eventually meeting Ni Angker, a half-crocodile, half-witch who gives Katami diabolical powers, thus allowing her to commence a bloody revenge. Santet 2, 92 min. Katami is trying to live a pious life in her village, but most of the villagers shun and curse her on account of her previous murderous deeds. When the mentor of Ni Angker finds Katami and curses her, the madness in the village starts anew as Katami turns into a vicious tiger every night, ripping the townspeople from limb to limb. Directed by Siswaro Ganmaputra, starring Susanna, Joyce Erna, K. Arif Raduma, Basiti Dorman Borisman, Karsaman Gada. 1988 to 1989, 94 min plus 92 min, 1.51, Indonesian, mono with English subtitles. Additional info, region-free Blu-ray, newly scanned and restored in 2K from their 35mm original camera negative. Commentary track with film historian Dr. Eki Imanjaya for Santet. Reversible sleeve artwork. Newly translated English subtitles. This special limited edition 2-disc 4K UHD Blu-ray set comes with a spot gloss hard slipcase plus slipcover combo designed by Chris Barnes, includes a 40-page perfect bound book, and is limited to 8,000 units. It is only available on Vinegar Syndrome's website and at select indie retailers. Absolutely no major retailers will be stocking them. Versions note. The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock is presented with 2 unique picture edits, comprising 3 versions of the film, all on 4K UHD. The original Italian version, with Italian language credits, is offered with both its English and Italian language sound mixes. The alternate US version is presented with its English language mix and original US credit sequence and title card. Historically, there were never any editorial differences between the English language version of the Italian cut and the Italian language version, other than the language of the opening credits themselves. While we are presenting the Italian language credits with both language tracks specifically on the Italian version, the English Raptus title sequence card can be found on the Blu-ray bonus features. Brilliant scientist Professor Bernard Hitchcock harbors a secret fascination with the corpses of beautiful young women. His perverse desires are so strong that he has developed a unique serum capable of placing people into a death-like state, a drug he has decided to experiment with on his wife, Margaretha. However, after accidentally giving her a lethal dose, the doctor panics and covers up his wife's death. Hitchcock soon remarries, this time to the orphaned Cynthia, whom he brings to live with him at his isolated castle. Shortly after her arrival, Cynthia begins to experience increasingly strange and ghastly goings-on. While her new husband dismisses these seemingly supernatural occurrences, Cynthia becomes convinced that someone, or something, is lurking in the castle, and her loving husband might know more than he's letting on. A crucial early work in the Italian Gothic horror canon, The Horrible Dr. Hitchcock, from director Riccardo Freda and screenwriter Ernesto Gastaldi, is a macabre period chiller which stars Barbara Steele alongside Robert Fleming, Silvano Tranquilli, and Harriet Medin. Graced with eye-poppingly colorful cinematography from Raffaele Masciacchi, Vinegar Syndrome proudly presents the UHD debut of this twisted and suspenseful classic in a brand new and exclusive 4K restoration of its original negative, and loaded with fresh extras, including interviews with second assistant director Marcello Avallone and star Barbara Steele. Directed by Riccardo Freda, starring Barbara Steele, Robert Fleming, Silvano Tranquilli, Harriet Medin, Maria Teresa Vianello, Spencer Williams, Aldo Cristiani, Evaristo Signorini, Giovanni Querel. 1962, 1.851 Italian cut, 87 min Italian mono plus English mono. American cut, 76 min English mono. Additional info: 2-disc set, 4K Ultra HD UHD 100, Region A Blu-ray 4K UHD, presented in high dynamic range. Newly scanned and restored in 4K from its 35mm original camera negative. The 87-minute Italian cut features both its Italian and English language tracks and is available on both the UHD and Blu-ray discs. The 76-minute American cut with its English language track and is available on both the UHD and Blu-ray discs. Commentary track with film historians Eugenio Ercolani, Troy Howarth, and Nathaniel Thompson, The Horrible Dr. Freda, an interview with Second Assistant Director Marcello Avallone. The Most Honorable Julian Perry, an interview with screenwriter Ernesto Gastaldi. Necropolises and Necrophiliacs, filmmaker Marcello Avallone on Italian horror and his experiences of working within the genre. Scene select commentary track with actress Barbara Steele, moderated by Barbara Steele archivist Russ Lanier. English, Raptus. Title sequence Italian trailer, still gallery, reversible sleeve artwork, newly translated English subtitles. This special limited edition deluxe magnet box plus slipcover set, designed by Tony Stella, includes a 40-page perfect-bound book and is limited to 8,000 units. It is only on Vinegar Syndrome's website and at select indie retailers. Absolutely no major retailers will be stocking them. Set during the height of the Vietnam War and deep in the swamps of Louisiana, a group of National Guardsmen have been ordered to partake in a simulated jungle exploration in an isolated part of Cajun country. After getting lost during the training mission, the soldiers commandeer canoes belonging to the locals in order to take a shortcut. When the rightful owners discover the soldiers with their property, the situation spirals out of control, leaving one man dead and the soldiers caught in a deadly game of retribution. What follows is a bloody fight for survival, as with only their wits and blanks for ammunition, the soldiers will have to journey deeper and deeper into the bayou as they're forced to face the brutal reality of Cajun justice. An intensely violent war metaphor filmed on location in the Louisiana bayou. Director and co-writer Walter Hill's acclaimed backwoods survival thriller, Southern Comfort, features an all-star cast headlined by Oscar winner Keith Carradine, Emmy winner Powers Booth, Fred Ward, T.K. Carter, and Emmy winner Peter Coyote. Vinegar Syndrome Ultra is proud to present Southern Comfort in 4K UHD for the first time, newly restored and loaded with extras. Directed by Walter Hill, starring Keith Carradine, Powers Booth, Fred Ward, T.K. Carter, Peter Coyote, Lewis Smith. 1981, 106 min 1.851 English mono. Additional info: 2-disc set, 4K Ultra HD, region-free Blu-ray 4K UHD, presented in high dynamic range. Newly scanned and restored in 4K from its 35mm interpositive. Commentary track with Walter Chaw, author of a Walter Hill film, Tragedy and Masculinity in the Films of Walter Hill. Battle in the Bayou, 17 min, brand new interview with co-writer to director Walter Hill. Behind Enemy Lines, 26 min, brand new featurette with editor Freeman A. Davies and assistant editor Lisa Zeno-Churgin. Soldiers, Not Mailmen, 17 min, brand new interview with costumer Dan Moore. Into the Unknown, 15 min, brand new interview with film historian Wayne Byrne on Southern Comfort and the legacy of Walter Hill. Archival featurette featuring interviews with co-writer-director Walter Hill and co-writer-producer David Geller, along with actors Powers Booth, Keith Carradine, Peter Coyote, and Lewis Smith, 27 min. Still gallery and video trailer, 20-page booklet with an essay by author Brian Brems. Reversible sleeve artwork, English SDH subtitles. This limited edition box set, designed by Alessa Kreger, is limited to 7,000 units and is only available on Vinegar Syndrome's website and at select indie retailers. Absolutely no major retailers will be stocking them. One of the favorite tropes of the giallo genre was and is the presence of amateur detectives, wherein members of the public take on the challenge of solving a spate of mysterious murders. Presented here are a trio of films, all of which rely on this cherished device and representing 3 distinct periods in the genre. Death Carries a Cane. While enjoying an otherwise leisurely day, Kitty, a professional photographer, happens to witness the murder of a nude woman via a sightseeing telescope. While she is unable to make out the black trench coat-wearing killer's face, it's not long before this mystery assailant begins stalking and gorily bumping off all potential witnesses to the crime. Fearing that she might become the killer's next target, Kitty enlists the help of her boyfriend, Alberto, as the two launch their own investigation into the murders. A sensationally trashy and fun giallo from the genre's early 70s golden age, Maurizio Prado Death Carries a Cane, aka Passi di Danza su una lama di rasoio, offers a non-stop barrage of sex and violence, all within the confines of a clever whodunit. Starring Nieves Navarro, Robert Hoffman, Simone Andro, and Rosita Toros, Vinegar Syndrome is delighted to present the world Blu-ray debut of this deliriously sleazy hidden gem from a new 4K restoration of its 35mm camera negative in both its original Italian and English language dubs. Directed by Mauricio Prado. Starring Robert Hoffman, Nieves Navarro, Jorge Martin, Anuska Barova, Serafino Profumo, Simon Andrew, Anna Liberati, Rosita Toros. 1973, 91 min, 1.851. Italian mono with English subtitles plus English mono dub track. Additional info, region-free Blu-ray. Newly scanned and restored in 4K from its 35mm original camera negative. Presented in its original Italian mono soundtrack with optional English subtitles as well as its English mono dub soundtrack. Commentary track with film historians Eugenio Ercolani, Troy Howarth, and Nathaniel Thompson. A Life in the Suite. An interview with editor Eugenio Alabiso. Promotional still gallery, inside sleeve artwork. Newly translated English subtitles, Naked You Die. Following the arrival of a mysterious trunk to an all-girls boarding school, a series of strange disappearances and murders begin to plague the institution. To appease the panic-stricken students and staff, Inspector Duran begins searching the school grounds in a bid to unmask the culprit. However, student and amateur sleuth, Jill, decides to solve the mystery on her own, unwittingly putting herself into the sights of a bloodthirsty killer. A transitional giallo which bridges the style over substance and gothic-inspired thrillers of the mid-60s with the grimier and sleazier efforts of the 1970s and beyond. Antonio Margheriti's Cannibal Apocalypse debut giallo, the perfunctorily titled Naked You Die, aka Nude, Seymour, The Young, the Evil, and the Savage, stars Mark Damon, Eleonora Brown, and Michael Rennie. Featuring striking scope photography from Fausto Zuccoli and a memorable score by Carlo Savina, Vinegar Syndrome presents the English-friendly Blu-ray debut of Naked You Die, including the original Italian cut and English export version, both restored in 4K from its original 35mm camera negative. Antonio Margheriti, starring Mark Damon, Eleonora Brown, Sally Smith, Patrizia Valturi, Michael Rennie, Ludmila Lvova, Luciano Pagozzi, 1968, 1.851, Italian cut, 97 min, Italian mono with newly translated English subtitles. English Schoolgirl Killer, cut 78 min, English mono. Additional info, region-free Blu-ray, newly scanned and restored in 4K from its 35mm original camera negative. Presented in two versions, the original 97-minute Italian cut and the 78-minute English language Schoolgirl Killer. Edit commentary track with film historians Eugenio Ercolani, Troy Howarth, and Broer. Nathaniel Thompson, Young, Evil, and Savage. An interview with actress Sally Smith. Schoolgirl Killer. An interview with actress Eleonora Brown. Last Shower. An interview with actress Melissa Longo. Hello Giallo, Death Finds Its Feet. A video essay by Mike Foster on Naked You Die and the early days of the Giallo film, Giallo Dawson. A video essay by Pier Maria Bacchi on the lesser-known films of Naked You Die, director Antonio Margheriti, a.k.a. Anthony Dawson. Promotional image gallery, inside sleeve artwork, newly translated English subtitles, The Bloodstained Shadow. In the 1950s, the body of a teenage girl was found strangled near a small village. Decades later, with the murder remaining unsolved, a young man named Stefano, who grew up in the area, returns home to visit his older brother, Paolo, who has become the local priest. Shortly after his arrival, more mysterious murders begin to plague the community, with the victims being members of a strange local sect. But when Paolo begins receiving menacing warnings from an unknown source, Stefano, with the help of his girlfriend Sandra, begins looking into the seemingly ordinary town's sinister past. A late 70s standout in the giallo genre, director Antonio Bito's sophomore feature, The Bloodstained Shadow, aka Solamente Nero, subverts expectations by offering a complex and serious-in-tone mystery set against the beauty and majesty of Venice. Starring American expat Craig Hill, Alfredo Zammi, and Italian genre film legend Stefania Cassini, Vinegar Syndrome brings this highly acclaimed thriller to Blu-ray, sourced from a new, director-approved 4K restoration and featuring a vast array of interviews with its cast and crew. Directed by Antonio Bito, starring Lino Capolicchio, Stefania Cassini, Craig Hill, Massimo Serrato, Juliette Maniel, Laura Nucci, Alfredo Zammi, 1978, 109 min, 1.851, Italian, mono with English subtitles, plus English mono dub track. Additional info, region-free Blu-ray. Newly scanned and restored in 4K from its 35mm original camera negative. Commentary track with film historians Eugenio Ercolani, Troy Howarth, and Nathaniel Thompson, Deep Black. An interview with director Antonio Bito, Ink-Stained Shadow. An interview with screenwriter Marisa Andalal, Beauty in the Darkness. Actress Stefania Cassini, interviewed by Antonio Bito. Rural Horror Hero. Actor Lino Capolicchio, interviewed by Antonio Bito. The Bloodstained Set. An interview with production assistant Luciano Lucchi, A Bloodstained Sound. An interview with musician Claudio Simonetti. Still gallery featuring behind-the-scenes photos and promotional images. Alternate English titles and credits. Original Italian trailer. Original English trailer. Inside sleeve artwork. Newly translated English subtitles.